Nigeria's neighbors and allies join the fight against Boko Haram. We'll have the latest. African innovation. How a new wave of invention is transforming the continent. And Oscar fever. The winners, the glamour, the magic moments. We're live in Hollywood. Africa 54 starts right now.
Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. First tonight, the Oscars. The film Birdman soared on high on Hollywood's biggest night, winning the industry's top honor among its 4 Academy Awards. But as VOA's Chris Hanners reports, the Oscars also highlighted films portraying social issues and the struggle of disease.
The ceremony closed with Birdman winning Best Picture for the story of a slumping former superhero movie actor trying to restart his career in a Broadway play. The film won earlier Oscars for Best Original Screenplay and Best Cinematography for its unique style that appears as if it is done in one continuous shot. Mexico native Alejandro González Iñárritu said he was humbly honored to win Best Director.
True art, true individual expression as all the work of these incredible fellow filmmakers can't be compared, can't be labeled, can't be defeated because they exist, and our work only will be judged, as always, by time.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours.
One of the most poignant moments of the night came as John Legend and Common performed the Oscar-winning song Glory from the 1960s civil rights film Selma.
They march with the torch, we gon' run with it now. Never look back.
The song brought the audience to its feet in applause and left some in tears. Eddie Redmayne won Best Actor for The Theory of Everything, which depicts scientist Stephen Hawking facing the challenge of being diagnosed and living with the neurodegenerative disease ALS. Redmayne dedicated the award to Hawking and his family. Best Actress went to Julianne Moore, who plays a college professor dealing with Alzheimer's disease in the film Still Alice.
And people with Alzheimer's deserve to be seen so that we can find a cure.
The film Boyhood was one of the favorites for Best Picture, but had to settle for a Best Supporting Actress Oscar for Patricia Arquette, who closed her acceptance speech with a call for women's rights.
It's our time to have wage equality once and for all, and equal rights for women in the United States of America.
Meanwhile, J.K. Simmons won Best Supporting Actor for his role as a music teacher in the movie Whiplash. In the Best Foreign Language Film category, Polish director Paweł Pawłowski accepted the Oscar for his movie Ida, about a woman who is preparing to become a nun and embarks on a journey of self-discovery.
We made a film about, as you saw, black and white, about the need for silence and withdrawal from the world and contemplation. And here we are, at this epicenter of noise and world attention. Fantastic, life is full of surprises.
Chris Hanners, VOA News, Washington.
Well, and we're going to join our colleague Roger Munt, who is in Hollywood, for a little more on Oscar night. Well, now to West Africa. A U.S.-backed counterterrorism flintlock exercise took place in Chad Sunday to prepare a task force to fight Boko Haram, the biggest security threat to Africa's top oil producer, Nigeria, and an increasing concern to countries bordering it. Chad launched the 9th annual training exercise with 1,300 soldiers from 28 African and Western countries after the United States military agreed to share communications equipment to help African allies share intelligence to help them in the fight against insurgent groups. U.S. Army Public Affairs Officer Staff Sergeant Daniel Carter said that the exercise will help African and Western allies to work together against the insurgency.
The kind of training that they receive is all based on real-world scenarios. So what they take away from this is better cohesion, cooperation amongst each other, and amongst other nations, amongst their African partners, their Western partners, their American partners.
West African military commanders have long complained that cross-border operations against Islamic groups, from Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb in Mali to Boko Haram in Nigeria, have been obstructed by lack of compatible communications equipment, making it hard to swap information and coordinate. The exercises this year introduced technology allowing African partners to communicate between cell phones, radios, and computers, as well as introducing a cloud-based technology to allow African allies to quickly share intelligence across borders. Amid growing international alarm, the four nations of the Lake Chad region, Chad, Niger, Cameroon, and Nigeria, plus neighboring Benin, are preparing a joint task force of 8,700 men to take on the Sunni jihadist group.
Boko Haram is a militia made of civilians, and they don't have the same experience as we have. We are a well-organized army. They cannot resist us.
Boko Haram killed an estimated 10,000 people last year in its campaign to carve out an Islamic emirate from northern Nigeria. Well, the United States and its allies staged 25 airstrikes on Islamic State fighters in Iraq and Syria, focusing on the Syrian cities of Kobani and Hasaka. Now, for more, our Pentagon correspondent Carla Babb joins us by Skype. Carla, give us a little more details on the strikes that have been taking place in that region.
Well, as you said, there were almost a dozen in Syria overnight, but there were also several in Iraq, which were really interesting based on their location. There were 3 near the Al-Assad air base, and that is where U.S. troops are training Iraqi forces to be better troops. There was also one in Kirkuk, which is the Kurdish region, and there was also one near Mosul.
Mm-hmm. Now, we know that just a few days ago, the U.S. military shared also some information regarding how the Iraqi and Kurdish military force would push to recapture Mosul from the Islamic State fighters. Well, can you give us a little more on this particular update?
That's right. They went as far, a U.S. Central Command official went as far as to say exactly when they expected this Mosul offensive to start and how many. They said that they were hoping it would start in April or May. They said that there would be about 20 to 25,000 Iraqi troops, and they even went into the detail on who would be fighting this. They said there were going to be about 5 Iraqi brigades in the fight. There were going to be 3 smaller Iraqi brigades used as reserves, and then there were going to be 3 Peshmerga brigades that were going to be there for the north and the west to try to contain the Islamic State. And then they said there was even going to be what they're calling a Mosul fighting force, which is based of former Mosul police officers that would also come in and help with the fight.
And you know, as always, people will ask, well, will there be U.S. troops involved in this operation?
Well, they have not made a decision on that, according to this U.S. military official. They're still debating whether or not U.S. military troops will be needed closer to the area. Mosul is a very huge urban location, and so the precision of the airstrikes has to be even more precise than ever when it comes to going into urban warfare. So they have not decided whether or not the U.S. Military will need to be a little closer to be able to work and coordinate with the strikes.
Well, thanks a lot, Carla. Well, Carla Babb's VOA Pentagon correspondent reporting live via Skype. Now, we want to know what you think about Africa 54 on the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, Reinventing Africa, how innovation is transforming the continent. Stay with us.
The only world I knew was outside my window. I got good grades, and I was a part of the Boys Club of New York. I thought the good life I saw on TV was a dream. I chose to create my own options. I've taken risks to make products for African Americans. To me, Black History Month celebrates our contribution to this country and the opportunities I've had. I just want to do my part to make sure that legacy lives on. My name is Tristan Walker, and I'm an entrepreneur.
Welcome back to Africa 54. Tanzania will hold a referendum in April on a new constitution. Now, the draft proposes the establishment of an independent electoral commission and, for the first time, legal challenges to presidential election results. To tell us more about it is Honorable Samuel Sitta, is Tanzania's Minister of Transport and is a former Speaker of Tanzania's Constituent Assembly, which conducted the review of the country's constitution. Honorable Sitta, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you, Vincent.
Now, what a job you did. And one of the things I know is that there have been voices, especially in the opposition, that are not exactly excited about the referendum that is coming up. What is the problem?
Well, Vincent, we have this problem that the people in the opposition, our colleagues in the opposition, want to make political capital out of the whole electoral, the constituent assembly and the making of the constitution. So all their demands, for example, this thing about an independent electoral commission is included in the constitution. That is, yes, in the draft constitution. Having an independent candidates at all levels of political life is also in the new proposed constitution. Accepting the fact that the president has to win by more than 50% of the vote is for the first time included.
Is it a simple majority, just a 50 plus 1 or whatever
50
the case
plus
may be?
1, yes. But the current situation under the current 1977 constitution is simply first past the post. So one could win by 48.
I think one of the critical things is also about the powers of the presidency. We know that that has been a problem across many African countries.
Right.
To what degree does the new constitution take away the powers of the presidents and at least have them shared by other organs like parliament and other organs of the state?
Yes, we've taken care of that too. For example, the president cannot, for example, appoint, like he does now, the electoral commission. This was a major problem in the past because there was no credibility in an electoral commission that is appointed by the president. Now we are going to have a free electoral commission, which is set up by a commission, a body.
So the president can't hire them or can't fire them.
No.
But very importantly, Tanzania has for many years been running on a two-government system, and now you're proposing a different system, a different structure. Can you give us a little, very quickly, a snapshot of that?
Yeah. What we have is the same two-government system for the union, but this time giving a little bit more autonomy for Zanzibar, for those things, for example, economic matters that are not part of union affairs. It used to be a sticking point because when Zanzibar wanted to take a loan, for example, for agriculture or health, they would go under the treasury of the union, and this took a lot of bureaucracy. Now it's going to be out. They can also associate with Zanzibar is 99% Muslim. They're allowed now to, under this constitution, if it goes through, they can join the IOC and Islamic organizations.
Thank you very much. This is a big conversation. We can probably have it another time. But we thank you very much for joining us today, Honorable Sitta, and talking to us.
Thank you.
Well, Honorable Samuel Sitta is Tanzania's Minister of Transport and also former chairman of Tanzania's Constituent Assembly, which conducted the review of the country's constitution. We're turning to science and technology. An innovation revolution is transforming Africa. New computer applications, inventions, ideas, and dreams are bringing economic growth and vitality to the continent. VOA's Paul Cisco has more.
Technology and innovation centers, large and small, are popping up across Africa. Among the largest is Konza, a high-tech center for innovation being built near Kenya's capital, Nairobi. On a smaller scale, tech hubs like this one can be found on university campuses and city streets. The two-seat Kira EVA car, powered by rechargeable lithium batteries, was designed and built by a team of student innovators led by Professor Sandy Stephen Tikodri Togbawa of Makerere University in Uganda. Appearing in a taped interview on VOA's Straight Talk Africa, hosted by Shaka Sali, the professor explained the importance of having a successful African-based automotive concept.
The Kira electric vehicle project, which is now, I feel like, transiting into the establishment of what we shall consider as the first original automotive equipment manufacturing undertaking in East Africa.
Although the technology has been around for years, this is the first time anyone in Uganda has been able to manufacture a purely electric car. Samuel Surafel and Chinedu Inekwe have both founded organizations that support African startups, and they were asked about the success of the Kira car project.
I think it's a great thing to see Africans actually taking up the mantle of design and technology innovation. I hope that they're thinking about things beyond the design, where we talk about the innovation of the distribution models and definitely thinking about the production of the inputs that go into the car, the steel, the actual batteries, which may lead to a stronger piece of innovation.
What about you, Samuel, your reaction to this?
It's an exciting next step, really, for innovation, and to see that they were able to actually produce a running concept. You know, the benefit of having produced that version 1 is that they've now moved into buses and trucks. So you create more opportunities for yourself in trying to address one market and possibly identifying new in other markets with that.
Are you aware of, for example, the Tone Erumeru Foundation?
Very much so. They have a groundbreaking initiative, which is a $100 million 10-year program, which is seeking to engage about 1,000 entrepreneurs across the continent. And it's a great program looking at young people as the engine of what will lead Africa forward. So I think that's a perfect example of the private sector working to change the outlook on Africa.
The Tony Elumelu Foundation is just one more way of supporting young entrepreneurs and furthering Africa's innovation revolution. Paul Sisko, VOA News.
Well, it's still to come on Africa 54, another dose of glitz and glamour on the Oscar red carpet. But first, here's a recap of Monday's headlines.
If you've just joined us, I'm Mariama Diallo, and here is a quick recap of today's headlines. In Chad, 1,300 soldiers from 28 African countries involved in anti-terrorism exercise prepare to fight against Boko Haram. And a prominent Egyptian activist, Alaa Abdel Fattah, is sentenced to 5 years in prison on charges connected to law banning protests. In Libya, Islamic State militants claim the responsibility for bomb attack on Iranian ambassador's residence. Finally, Rafa Chitoui becomes the first Tunisian cyclist to win the Tropical Amissa Bongo race in Gabon. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Africa 54. Here's what's trending. Glitz and glamour on Oscar night. Well, the lovely Lupita Nyong'o stood out from the crowd in a custom-made Calvin Klein gown covered in 6,000 pearls. As for the rest of the ladies, their focus was on simple, elegant hair and makeup. As for the fashions, the dresses were either skin-tight column dresses with high slits or bare backs, or fairy tale ball gowns with billowing skirts and creative bodices. And our fashion observers call it a return to the old-school Hollywood glamour. Well, so how did the guys do on the red carpet? Well, the phrase "do your own thing" comes to mind. There were tuxedos in every color, from dark blue to powder blue to cherry red. Most of the Brits clung to traditional black tie and beautifully tailored smoking jackets. From shoes to hats, the men definitely got their dandy on as they strutted their stuff. Well, and speaking of leading men, the actor who could be Bond puts a Jaguar through its paces. The car maker released a sleek ad documenting Idris Elba's epic road trip from London to Berlin in the new Jaguar XE. Along the route, Idris stopped at an F1 race circuit in Belgium, where he met with a Formula One racing legend who took him for some high-speed dynamic driving. While on his journey, Idris demonstrated the car's bells and whistles, from smartphone apps and Wi-Fi to premium audio systems. And that is what is trending today. Well, it's an exciting week in sports, and for all of the highlights, we turn to Sunny Young with the sunny side of sports. Sunny.
Hi, Vincent, and sporty greetings once again to our Africa 54 viewers. Let's begin with a boxing blockbuster. It's been a long time coming, but a welterweight showdown between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather is now set for May 2nd in Las Vegas, Nevada. Mayweather says it's what the world has been waiting for, while Pacquiao says he's very happy they can give fight fans what they've waited for so many years. It's expected to be the most lucrative fight in history. According to published reports, the undefeated Mayweather could earn $120 million, while the Pac-Man might get $80 million. Pacquiao has a record of 57 wins and 5 losses with 38 knockouts, and he's won world titles in 8 different divisions. Mayweather has won all 47 of his prize fights with 26 knockouts, and he's won world championships in 5 different divisions. Mayweather last fought September 13th when he beat Argentina's Marcos Maidana by unanimous decision, and Pacquiao last fought November 23rd when he beat American Chris Algieri by unanimous decision. Mayweather and Pacquiao are the 2 biggest names in boxing. I'm looking forward to it. May 2nd. I'm VOA's Sunny Young, and that's the sunny side of sports. Vincent?
And Sunny, I mean, there's no question that Mayweather and Pacquiao are the biggest names right now. Do you get the sense that they got still a lot in them to keep them going for even many more years?
Well, I don't know about many more years, but one more fight anyways. I kind of wish we had seen this fight about 5 or 6 years ago.
And you know, Pacquiao said that even if he retires, he has another, is it a night job?
Yeah, he's got his hand in a lot of different pots outside the boxing ring. He likes to sing.
He's a singer.
He's a congressman in the Philippines.
That's right, yeah.
And I think he maybe even has a future in the movies.
Oh, wow. Future in the movies in Hollywood, you mean?
Well, yeah, this should really set a lot of records, Vincent, on May 2nd.
Yeah, but Mayweather, how about Mayweather? You know, between the two of them, who could last longer?
Physically, I think Mayweather has a better shot of a longer career. He is 37, and I don't see him fighting much longer after this fight against Pacquiao. Maybe 1, maybe 2 more fights.
All right, thank you. Well, thanks. Thank you very, very much, Sunny Young. And remember to join Sunny every Monday and Friday right here on Africa 54. And how about we get a little bit closer look now at The Badman. This is the movie that won the Oscars last evening. This was the best director and the best film, and his hallucinatory backstage first delivers into the world of the actors. Let's watch this.
We had it all. You were a movie star, remember?
Regan Thompson, played by Michael Keaton, is a forgotten movie star who became famous 20 years ago for his superhero franchise role, Birdman. Now, Regan craves respect. He plans a comeback on Broadway.
You wrote this adaptation?
I did, yeah.
And you're directing
and starring in your adaptation. That's ambitious.
Regan hires Mike, a respected Broadway actor, to play opposite him, but the two develop an antagonistic relationship.
Oh, I'm sorry if I'm popular, Mike. You know, I don't give a shit. Popularity is the slutty little cousin of prestige, my friend.
Days before the premiere, Regan falls apart. Critics shred him to pieces.
And you don't get to come in here and pretend you can write, direct, and act in your own propaganda piece without coming through me first.
His cast is bickering. Production expenses mount. His daughter, fresh out of rehab, resents him and increases his self-doubt.
You're doing this because you're scared to death, like the rest of us, that you don't matter. And you know what? You're right. You don't.
Alejandro González Iñárritu tells the story through Regan's perspective as he questions his identity and is desperately seeking validation from a world with disparate values.
Are you at all afraid that people will say you're doing this play to battle the impression that you're a washed-up super? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's why 20 years ago I said no to Birdman 4. That's why.
Hold the mantle! Michael Keaton offers a delicately balanced act as Regan Thomas, teetering between a real and a surreal world.
Let's make a comeback. You're Birdman.
Ed Norton fleshes out Mike, an arrogant but also insecure character actor, and Emma Stone is riveting as Regan's angry daughter Sam. But the most impressive element in the film is that it is one continuous shot. This seamless transfer from one moment to the next creates a linear story that exudes uneasiness because there is no respite from the crisis that unfolds.
Our life, it's just a continuous shot. You know, we wake up in the morning, and then we are all day with a steady cam floating, and we don't escape.
For that, says Iñárritu, the cast had to be perfectly prepared.
There is nothing improvised. Everything was absolutely studied, with the timing, with precision of a clock.
The film flows seemingly without a single break, pacing life.
Is this for real, or are you shooting a film?
A film!
Penelope Pulu, VOA News, Washington.
Music.
Well, and that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. For more news, tune in to VOA's evening radio show, Africa News Tonight at 1800 UTC, and in the mornings, Today Break Africa between 0300 and 0600 UTC, Monday through Friday. Thanks a lot for watching. And from all of us here in Washington, have a good night. We're able to touch on things that are important to people on an everyday basis. Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. In a lively half hour, news, sports, health, lifestyle information, comments from our viewers. Africa 54, the best for Africa, about Africa. Join us only on VOA.